Imagine this: vast open plains stretching out as far as the eye can see, massive herds of animals of every shape and size lumbering about, while all around them, numerous biological killing machines lie in wait, promising death to any misfortunate victim who takes the wrong step. Now, I must be talking about the Great Plains of Africa, right? After all, that is the only place in the world that matches that description, in a sense. But no, I'm not talking about Africa at all. Instead, a place that seems to be the exact opposite when it comes to nature: America. Yes, the same America where over 90% of its life is either people or animals we domesticated for our own benefit. The same America where in many areas the only large animal you'll find is going to be a mutant rat. Looking at you, New York. So no doubt, the current state of the country is a far cry from the nature you see in the savannas of Africa. However, not so long ago it was a different story, as prehistoric America was eerily a lot like Africa, but on steroids. Now, given the heat and dryness of the African savannas, it'd be logical to think I'm talking about a much hotter version of America. Yet, ironically, I'm not, as in reality, this form of the US took place when it was just about at its coldest point. In other words, the Ice Age. Specifically, the last glacial maximum between 26 and 20,000 years ago, the coldest phase of the entire Ice Age, when temperatures averaged a chilly 46 degrees Fahrenheit or 7.7 degrees Celsius worldwide. Ice sheets had expanded to cover 25% of the planet's land, coming down as far as Iowa, Indiana, and Ohio, while states like New York and Vermont were completely buried. In fact, not even the One World Trade Center would have stuck out from the ice. But remarkably, despite all that ice, the vast majority of America remained untouched by the sheets, yet was still deeply impacted. Everything was much colder and drier, resulting in a landscape completely foreign compared to now. Far fewer trees, more grasses and short plants, leading to the creation of megasteppes, grasslands, and cool, dry savannas that may have stretched 40 to 60% greater than the Great Plains of today. Different vegetation than Africa: herb-dominated grasses and cold-resistant conifers like spruce and pine, but playing the exact same ecological function, attracting animals that held the same niches as those in Africa. And those animals, they were, frankly, just that much more crazy. America's own Ice Age take on the elephant was the Columbian mammoth, the largest animal to walk these lands since the dinosaurs. Standing between 12 and 13.8 feet at the shoulders and weighing up to 12.5 tons, it surpassed even Africa's bush elephants. Its tusks were massively curved, sometimes reaching 13 feet, or even past 16 feet, longer than 3 adults laid head to toe, and they were absolutely lethal. In Nebraska, 2 mammoths were found locked in a perpetual duel, their tusks tangled together, with one's tusk jutting straight out of the other's eye socket. Not so harmless after all. On the fringes of the plains lived the woolly mammoth, better known but actually less widespread in the continental US, mostly found in Alaska and the northern states. Still impressive, roughly the size of modern African elephants at around 9 tons, with remarkably long, spiraling tusks. And completing the trio was the American mastodon, not a mammoth, but a separate group of proboscideans with a stocky build and lower domed skull. A bit shorter than the Columbian mammoth, but so dense that a mastodon the same height as a modern elephant could still be 80% heavier. A living tank that dominated the east while the Columbian mammoth ruled the west. Beyond the Titans, Ice Age America had its own diverse cast of hoofed megafauna. Deer diversity was far higher than today, including the stag moose, a moose-sized deer with an elk's head, and the American mountain deer, more than double the size of a modern whitetail. Then there were horses. Yes, horses, because despite Europeans supposedly introducing them to Native Americans, the horse family actually first evolved in North America almost 56 million years ago. At least 5 species roamed the land, including Hagerman's horse, also known as America's zebra for its distinct stripes. Researchers have even found horse teeth larger than any draft horse alive today, suggesting an extinct giant horse that routinely weighed up to 1.5 tons. Bison were represented by ancient forms too, not the modern American bison, which only evolved around 11,000 years ago, but its ancestor, Bison antiquus, one of the most common herbivores of the time. And above that, the giant bison, or Bison latifrons, one of the largest ruminants to ever evolve, up to 50% larger than a Cape buffalo, weighing 2 tons, with horns longer than most NBA players tip to tip. And believe it or not, camels. Yes, camels were in America. They evolved here too. The most common genus, Camelops, lived along the west coast and Great Plains, similar in size to the living dromedary, though whether it had a hump remains unknown. Tapirs also roamed the southern and eastern regions. The biodiversity was staggering. All that megafauna attracted predators that make those of Africa look tame. Cats ruled. America had cougars, bobcats, and lynxes still alive today, but also the American lion, Panthera atrox, whose name literally means the cruel panther. Likely an offshoot of the cave lion, it was one of the largest cats to ever live, with exceptional specimens weighing up to 457 kilos, 1,000 pounds, roughly 25% larger than modern lions. Isotopic analysis shows it consistently hunted larger prey than contemporary big cats and was even capable of removing limbs in a single bite. One unfortunate direwolf had its entire leg completely amputated by one. It may also have been social, living in prides, which for everything else alive would have been a death sentence. Rivaling it was the Smilodon, the last saber-toothed cat standing in America by the last glacial maximum, about the size of a modern lion or tiger, but far more heavily built, weighing up to 280 kilos. Its 2 giant saber teeth could sink deep into prey many times its size, causing catastrophic injuries to soft tissue and major organs, likely killing faster than any modern big cat. Meeting either the American lion or Smilodon would have been a guaranteed lose-lose situation. Then there was the short-faced bear, Arctodus, the region's largest predator, period. Females were already on par with polar bears. Males could stand 11 feet tall on their hind legs and weighed up to 950 kilos, over 2,000 pounds, with hypothetical maximums reaching 1.2 tons. An omnivore like modern bears, but its massive size likely forced it to hunt regardless. It also routinely stole carcasses from other predators through sheer intimidation. Canids were plentiful too, including the iconic direwolf, Anaxion dirus. Despite the name, not actually a true wolf, but a separate genus with a more muscular build, compact limbs, and a broader head delivering a far stronger bite, possibly capable of crushing bone like a hyena, essential for dealing with the armored and enormous prey of the time. And then there were the truly bizarre glyptodons, essentially giant armadillos the size of a bear, up to 400 kilos, covered in extensive carapace and head armor. They were actually grazers, essentially serving as mammalian tanks in the grasslands. Ground sloths, nothing like the tree sloths of today, massive, powerful, and in some cases the size of an Asian elephant. The Megatherium and Eremotherium both weighed around 4 tons, stretched 6 meters long, and could rise up on their hind legs to reach high vegetation or intimidate predators. Their claws doubled as defensive weapons, and we have evidence those claws could burrow straight through rock. So, why did all of this disappear? The answer is a double tap. First came us, humans crossing the Bering Land Bridge around this time as Paleo-Indians, highly skilled hunters who already had massive experience with big game in Asia. Evidence of butchery and hunting covers mammoths, mastodons, horses, bison, bears, and camels. The Clovis culture supercharged this with fluted spear points and advanced projectile weapons. Then came Mother Nature. The younger Dryas, an abrupt cooling followed by dramatic warming, devastated environments and put enormous pressure on both animals and humans, likely pushing people to hunt even harder. The result? The complete collapse of one of the most extraordinary ecosystems the world has ever seen. North America of today has nothing on its past. Thanks for watching.